It began at sunrise. The old camel walked out of the desert that morning, tired but alive. Every trader in the village stopped what they were doing. They stared in disbelief. An old camel had wandered into the territory of a pack of desert wolves. And somehow returned. How? This is the story no one believed until Sahir told it himself. 3 days earlier, the desert looked no different than it always had. Endless golden dunes rolled beneath the burning sun as Sahir carried heavy sacks of spices and cloth for a traveling merchant. He had walked that route for years. Every hill, every rock, every lonely acacia tree felt familiar. But deserts have a strange way of changing. A powerful sandstorm rose without warning. Within minutes, the sky turned orange. The wind screamed across the dunes, swallowing every footprint behind him. Sand struck his face like thousands of tiny needles. Sahir lowered his head and kept walking, hoping the storm would pass. When the wind finally settled, everything had disappeared. The landmarks were gone. The tracks were gone. Even the sun seemed unfamiliar. For the first time in many years, Sahir realized he had no idea where he was. He stood silently. His breathing became heavier. He listened. No caravan bells. No human voices. Only the endless whisper of the desert. I've wandered too far, he thought. As daylight faded, he reached a narrow canyon filled with strange silence. Then he noticed something that made his heart sink. Bones. Camel bones. Goat bones. Even the horns of a desert antelope lay half buried beneath the sand. This wasn't an ordinary valley. It belonged to predators. Sahir slowly stepped backward. Then he heard it. A low growl echoed between the canyon walls. One wolf appeared. Then another. Then another. Within seconds, 6 desert wolves surrounded the entrance. Behind them stood a massive gray wolf with scarred ears and calm yellow eyes. The alpha. None of the wolves attacked. They simply watched. The old camel felt fear rush through every part of his body. Every instinct screamed at him to run. But another memory surfaced. Years ago, an elderly caravan leader had once rubbed his neck and quietly said, "The desert respects those who don't let fear make their decisions." Sahir took one slow breath. Then another. Instead of running, he folded his legs beneath him and calmly knelt beside a dry desert bush. He lowered his head and began chewing the brittle branches. The wolves stopped moving. They looked at one another. This wasn't normal. Every animal they had ever hunted tried to escape. This one was eating dinner. The alpha stepped closer. His heavy paws barely disturbed the sand. He circled Sahir once. Twice. Watching. Waiting. Searching for panic. But Sahir continued chewing. Inside, his heart pounded so hard he thought the wolves could hear it. Outside, one step is enough to change everything. The younger wolves looked confused. One of them growled impatiently. Another licked his lips. None dared attack before their leader. Just then, a lean desert jackal slipped from behind the rocks with a sly smile. He looked from the wolves to the camel and laughed. So this is the creature everyone is afraid of. He walked towards Sahir. Slowly. Confidently. You look old, the jackal sneered. You look tired. You'd make an easy meal. For a brief second, Sahir's mind went completely blank. Then he calmly lifted his head, looked directly into the jackal's eyes, and said, "If the alpha decided I wasn't worth attacking, what makes you think you understand the desert better than he does?" Silence. The jackal turned toward the alpha. The alpha said nothing. He simply kept watching. That was enough. The jackal's confidence vanished. He lowered his tail, muttered something under his breath, and quietly disappeared behind the rocks. None of the wolves followed him. The sun began to set. Long shadows stretched across the sand. Finally, the alpha looked at Sahir one last time. Then he turned. Without a sound, the pack followed their leader into the dunes. Only after every wolf had disappeared did Sahir slowly rise to his feet. But he remembered one final lesson. Never show fear to someone who survives by feeding on it. So he walked. One slow step. Then another. He never looked behind him. Hours later, the familiar lights of the village appeared in the distance. When the merchants saw him returning alone, covered in dust, they rushed toward him in disbelief. "How did you survive?" one asked. Sahir smiled quietly. "The wolves weren't fighting my strength. They were searching for my fear. And when they couldn't find it, they began questioning their own. Sometimes life feels exactly like that desert. Problems circle around us. Fear whispers that we're too weak, too small, too late. But calm has a strange kind of power. When you refuse to panic, you force fear to lose its grip. Because courage isn't the moment when your heart stops racing. Courage is taking the next step, even while your heart is still pounding."